June 2, 1924. Citizenship granted. The United States took a defining step in its legal history when President Calvin Coolidge signed the Indian Citizenship Act into law. This act granted U.S. citizenship to all Native Americans born within the territorial limits of the country. Before this law, many Native Americans were not recognized as U.S. citizens, despite being born on American soil and having ancestral ties to the land predating European colonization. The legal framework prior to 1924 offered citizenship to Native Americans only through specific paths, including land allotment under the Dawes Act of 1887, military service, or special treaties. However, these methods were often conditional and inconsistent. The Indian Citizenship Act changed this landscape by establishing that citizenship would be granted automatically by birthright. The law did not require Native Americans to give up tribal affiliation or identity, which marked a significant shift from earlier policies that often demanded assimilation as a condition for citizenship. The context leading to the Act's passage was influenced by Native American participation in World War I. Although Native Americans were not legally required to serve, more than 10,000 volunteered for the U.S. military. This widespread service contributed to growing support for the recognition of full citizenship rights. Lawmakers cited the loyalty and sacrifice of Native Americans as justification for extending citizenship to them without further conditions. Despite the legal change, the granting of citizenship did not automatically guarantee voting rights at the state level. Many states continued to deny Native Americans the right to vote through discriminatory laws and practices. It was not until later court decisions and legislative actions that full voting rights were secured across all states. In some states, such as New Mexico and Arizona, Native Americans were not allowed to vote until the late 1940s. The Indian Citizenship Act did not alter the sovereign status of tribal nations. Native Americans continued to be recognized as members of distinct political communities with certain self-government rights. The act did not diminish the federal government's trust responsibility to tribes, nor did it nullify existing treaties. Instead, it added a layer of dual citizenship, tribal and federal, that further defined the complex legal relationship between Native nations and the U.S. government. The 1924 Act marked a turning point in U.S. policy toward Native Americans. It reflected a shift from policies rooted in assimilation to a more inclusive framework recognizing Native Americans as citizens while respecting tribal sovereignty. Although the act did not resolve all legal and social inequities faced by Native peoples, it was a landmark legal event that laid the groundwork for future civil rights advancements. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.